Good morning. Good morning, B. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, Butterfly. How you doing? Good
I'm
to see you.
doing I'm doing well on this beautiful Saturday morning. Feels like a Minnesota kind of morning.
Oh, does that mean it's a little chilly?
Yeah, the weather just seems like it should be winter.
Mm, you know how it is. Memphis kind of does the Waffle House thing. It thinks it's summer sometimes, and then it thinks it's spring, then it thinks it's winter, then it thinks it's fall. So you
There
never
you
really
go.
know.
There you go. There you go. But I'm
Hey,
doing good this morning. I'm ready.
same here. Same here. I'm up and at it. My bed was real nice this morning, so I decided I was like, let me just take a shower real quick before the show and freshen up and just make the morning come on a little bit faster. So that's what I was doing. So I'm still nice and warm and toasty from a shower. I feel good. Welcome everybody to the In This Season podcast, and welcome. I hope you guys are having a great morning too, just like me and the dynamic, powerful, transformative butterfly over there. In the comments, let us know. Wipe them shoulders. In the comments, let us know. How your morning's going, how you doing, how you expect the day to go, how yesterday went for you. Anything that you want to comment and let us know to check in. Let's do that now. This is our 52nd day,
Yes.
52nd consecutive day doing the In This Season podcast. And if this is your first time, we want to thank you and welcome you to the cookout. By the cookout, I mean, you know how Black people do. We have a cookout. Everybody comes in. You eat good, say something good to people, spread some love, spread some hugs, talk back and forth, and relate to each other. And then take you a plate home, and take a plate for somebody else too. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. We are reading through an amazing book called Daily Motivations for African American Success. And like I said about the cookout, even though if you might not be African American, you're still invited to the cookout. Come on, get you a plate, get something to eat, and take some home for your family. Make sure they get some of this good food right here, this soul food, as we call it. So welcome everybody on this 52nd installment of the In This Season podcast. Y'all show us some love in the comments. Let us know who you are, where you are, how you feeling, what you're doing, anything like that. Mom, you got anything?
No, I don't.
No,
It's all
just
good.
feeling good.
No. Yeah. I came home yesterday and took I don't know if I call it a nap because I didn't get up till like a little after 8. And I think I must have laid down about 5:30 ish, maybe. I don't know, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So I took, oh, and it was on the couch. The couch naps, y'all,
It's
are
something
different.
different.
It's
It's something
just
different.
different. It's different about the couch naps where you're not all the way, leveled. You just kind of tilt it over to the side. Whew. I woke up like a new person. So, and then just kind of went back to sleep. Did my thing and just went back to sleep. So, went to bed this time. So
Ah,
I'm
yeah, that's
good.
good.
I'm here this
I
morning.
had a good nap yesterday too. As you know, you kept the grandbabies some yesterday,
Yeah.
and they woke me up when y'all came back in, but I was in the back asleep, taking a great nap. I think I might have slept 3 hours yesterday total. I slept a little bit in the late morning because it rained, so I wasn't able to go work my business. And then later on, I took a good nap, maybe 2 hours. So
Yeah.
total, I probably got somewhere between 3 or 4 hours sleep, which I needed to catch up on sleep. It was good for me.
That's
And the
important.
nighttime,
And for people listening, that's important too, that you get the proper rest, that listen to your body. It will tell you, and then you will function so much better. Because I feel, I was operating, but I feel like I can operate on somebody now, not just myself. I feel
that's pretty
good.
good.
I feel good. So,
That's pretty good. And I
so
spent
get
last night at
adequate
the
rest.
mosque.
Good
Spent
for
a
you.
good bit of it last night at the mosque, and they were there till it was 2 a.m., 4 a.m. They had a suhoor at 4 a.m. this morning and prayed at 6 a.m. So they've been there all night, but I had to go ahead and get my butt home because I knew I needed some sleep. So I
Yeah.
stayed a little bit, but came on home and got some sleep so I could be up for you guys right here this morning at 7 a.m. So thank y'all again for rocking with us, and I think we can jump right into it if you're good, Mom.
We're good. Good morning,
We're good.
Brenda Davis, and thank you for sharing your story. We kind of had some back and forth behind the scenes, just a little bit, but she had shared something about the day we talked about being hopeful, and so, and and listening or hearing or reading what you sent, I thought about for such a time as this. And I think I put that out there back to you because all I could think about, like she's been here. I think she's the second one that I know of that got the book. Um, and she's been here. And so I just thought for such a time as this that I'm sure that what she's learned and gained from here has helped her spirit settle a little bit and be like, I got this, let's go. So it will be. So thank you for sharing and good morning, Mike, to my brother, your uncle. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. We appreciate y'all. Let's do it. Let's do it. So today's title on this March 23rd is Let Me Break It Down for You. Let me break it down for you. And our quote is from none other than W.E.B. Du Bois, who's an educator and a scholar, very distinct African American in the African American history. W.E.B. Du Bois, educator and scholar. And he said, there is in this world no such force as the force of a man determined to rise. The human soul cannot be permanently chained. Again, he said, there is in this world no such force as the force of a man determined to rise. The human soul cannot be permanently chained. Have you ever driven your car with the brakes on? I suppose that most of us who have driven for any length of time have had that experience. I can remember times when I have arrived at my destination and reached down to apply the parking brake only to find that it had been on the entire time I had been driving. Yet without realizing it, I had moved from point to point with my brakes partly set. The horsepower was there, but the car's vast potential was blocked, bottled up, and restricted. Traffic signals teach the same lesson. Signs and signals that regulate traffic are necessary for all the obvious reasons. But when you stop because of the red light on your mental dashboard, what are the real reasons that you hit the brakes? Have you asked, am I stopping for realistic reasons? Because I hope to avoid some impending danger? Or am I stopping because I do not believe myself capable of reaching my objective? How do you view yourself? Are you driving with your mental brakes on? If so, release your brakes and avoid all unnecessary stops. You'll reach your goals much sooner. And the quote today that we read 3 times, one for me, one for you, and one for the person you're going to send this to, is the light is green and I'm ready to go. I release everything that is holding me back. The light is green and I'm ready to go. I release everything that is holding me back. And one more time, y'all. The light is green and I'm ready to go. I release everything
Everything
that is
that
holding
is holding
me
me
back.
back.
Short, sweet, to the point, succinct, but we're gonna pull something out of this. What are your thoughts on this passage here?
Couple of things. Let me break it down for you. With the soul in us, I almost want to go, let me break it down for you, right? Let's
Yeah,
put some
yeah, yeah.
power behind it. Let's put some soul behind it. Let's put some meaning behind it. And I went right back to yesterday. Let me break it down for you. Did you pick up the wrong envelope today? The two envelopes. Did you pick up the one that feeds you fear, the I can't? Going back a little bit further, the I can't mindset. Did you pick it up today? Which is why your break is still up and you're not living to your potential. And then let's see, there is in this world no such force as the force of a man determined to rise, right? He will realize that break is up and why it's up. And if he doesn't, he who has that force will analyze, why am I breaking here? Because have you ever sat at another example, because this is something new in Memphis. For whatever reason, it seems that they did something to the lights, whereas you could be pulling up, there's no cross traffic sitting there at the other on the other sides, or coming that way, and the lights used to just allow people to flow. They had the sensors, I'm assuming. Well, now you can be a car pulling up, and just for whatever reason, in the direction that you're going, they change, and you will sit there. This is a pet peeve for me. I will have to sit there and just wait as no traffic is coming the opposite way, the parallel way, right? Nothing is happening. So whoever decided that, this craziest thing in the world, right? Because it's not going to help. Brandon's laughing at me, but it's like one of those things when you're driving with your brakes pulled up, or living. I'm going to say living with your brakes pulled up. You're not going. You're not going to um, as fast as you should be going. You're not moving properly. You're being delayed because your assignment, your appointment has a design time, right? A
Mm-hmm.
set aside time for you to be at this place, because your presence, your energy is there to help not just you, someone else. So when God has orchestrated us according to our purpose, our assignment to be somewhere, right? That is
Mm-hmm.
part of our journey, but we're riding with the brakes on because we don't know, number one, that we are a servant on an assignment that has nothing to do with us, but all to do with us. So let me break that down for you. That's what I'll say. Let me break it down for you. Um, the light is green, and you should be. The light is always green. Like it says, the traffic is going my way, coming my way. All
Mm-hmm.
traffic. We had one of those. I will release everything. Let's just say I will release the brakes that is holding me back. Let me break it down for you. Over to you, Brandon. I like this one. I like this
Yeah,
one.
me too. I like the short ones. Let me break it down for you. Basically, let me break it down. Like take the brakes off. Let me break it down. So I like the connection of the two different. I like the entendre. It's called of let me break it down for you, because break is being used in
Mhm.
one way as like a let me dissect what's wrong or what's going on, or let me simplify it into terms that can be mentally digested and understood. And then at the same time, that word break means breaking it down, or that phrase breaking it down is putting down your break on life, right? Like the light is green, but you have your brakes on. You're trying to go somewhere,
Mhm.
but you're going here, but you also have the brake up at the same time. So let's break it down. Let's make it break down. But if you think about it too, there's a whole nother way that you could look at this, because if you ride with your brake up, eventually your car is going to break down in some kind of way, shape,
Ooh.
form, or fashion. So like, what are you going towards, and what are you really doing? Are you being too hard on your vehicle, your body, your mind, your emotions, your time, how you're spending things? Because if you don't um if you don't put that brake down, you might have a breakdown. You might mess up something else in your car. You might mess up your brakes, or your drivetrain, or something. You're gonna mess up because you're creating friction within the system of your transportation. There's a system. There's a drivetrain system. There's an engine and a motor, and it's connected, and the pedal and the steering wheel is all connected. But if you have those brakes
Brandon,
up, you
I
are
like that.
creating, you know,
I,
you're
I,
creating.
I like that. I got to stop in and just say the way you've broken that down, it's so awesome. So don't stay there for just a minute. Say like when you're riding with you keep riding in your car with your brake when your brakes up,
Hmm.
something's gonna break in your car. So your heart, your mind, make this applicable to life. Brandon, I love the way you brought that together. This is why you're here. See, this is why you're here. Google
And
it.
I'm sleepy, but no, this is just how I see it. Like the breakdown, the entendre. What do they call it? A triple entendre. And I think it's meant to be a double entendre, but I just see another one there in the breaking down of your metaphorical vehicle, of your, like you said, your heart, your mind, your purpose, right? Like there's different ways that you can break it down, or you can have it break down if you don't put your break down. So it's how are you looking at it? How do you view yourself? Which I
Mm.
think is something that is said something that is said in here inside of the book. Let me see. If I'm not mistaken, it says, "Yeah, how do you view yourself? Are you driving with your mental brakes on? If so, release your brakes and avoid all unnecessary stops. You'll reach your goals much sooner." Unnecessary stops, it says, signs and signals that regulate traffic are necessary for all obvious reasons. But when you stop because of the red light on your mental dashboard, what are the real reasons that you hit the brakes? Is it because there's something realistic, or is it because um, like, yeah, is it realistic that you're hoping to avoid some impending danger? Or is that an assumption? Like, oh, there's going to be danger around the corner. How does that slow you down? Mike, you can understand this. My uncle Mike, being a football player, playing tailback, meaning the person in the rear, the furthest most rear point of the quarterback, in different formations, running the ball. The one running the ball mainly is the tailback. And Mike was an amazing tailback. He ran. They wore yellow, and he was the fastest thing out there. So he just looked like a lightning bolt, just sprinting across the field. I remember as a kid thinking, "How does he run so fast?" But I tell you one thing he didn't do in running that fast. He didn't doubt. Right? He didn't run with the brakes on. So by
Yeah.
the time, even if you stood in front of him, even if you braced yourself for the impact, or you tried to hit him um, while he was moving, he was already moving with so much momentum, right? He was already moving with so much momentum that he would often knock the people that were trying to tackle him over. At least he would get an extra yard or two after the impact because he was already moving with momentum. And then, like, if I can be a nerd for a second and break down what momentum is. So in physics, momentum is your mass times your velocity. Mass times the velocity is your momentum. So a little bitty fly moving really fast, you know, doesn't have a whole bunch of momentum. It can hit a brick wall and it will be stopped by that brick wall. Now you get a freight train that moves the same speed as that fly, but because it has more mass, even if it has the same velocity, it has more momentum. Or on the opposite end, that little fly, if it has twice the velocity or three times the velocity or 10 times the velocity, that fly can now be a bullet and pass straight through you if it's going that fast. So momentum is determined by how much mass you have and how much velocity you have. So think about this yourself. Are you moving with momentum, or are you stopping yourself mid gear? So this is the breakdown. I hope that I'm breaking it down enough for you guys and for myself, because this is the first time that we're seeing this and trying to analyze this. And if you guys see anything that we miss, please leave that in the comments section. But for now, that's really what I see is like, what are the do you are you driving with the brakes up? Are you are you paying attention to the signals, right? Like, are you, like, we could break it down in a multitude of ways. Like, do you have a check engine light on, right? Like we said, have you had your coffee today? Did you get enough sleep last night, right? Because if you didn't get enough sleep, then that means you don't have gas. So you could be riding with the brake down and not have those brakes up, and you don't have any gas. So how do you get the velocity? We have to, if we look at ourselves as a system, as a holistic system,
Mm-hmm.
we look at our mental health and how that's connected to our physical health, and how that's connected to our emotional health, and how that all is connected to our spiritual health. Then we can see how how futile it would be, or how backwards it would be to ride with the brake up, right? Just like if we're so afraid, what's that quote, that our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. So are you afraid of your success? Are you um are you um uh what do they call it, self-sabotaging your own
Mm-hmm.
success because you are used to only achieving, or you are expected by others in society to only achieve a certain level of success? Is that your break? Is that your break that's up right now that's leading to your breakdown? And we're asking, before your car breaks down, before your heart breaks, before your mind breaks, and you have a panic attack, or before your body breaks because you're not getting sleep, we're saying put the brake down. We're saying take care of yourself. Make sure your gas is filled, right? That's you getting sleep, and something to eat. And now something that might have to be changed a little less often, your oil. That might be you just taking a break sometimes, and going back and just reassessing life. That could be like changing your oil, changing your tires. Make sure you ain't walking around in some old shoes that's hurting your feet, because that's gonna change the way you think. You know what I mean? It's gonna change how your outcomes be. So make
Mm.
sure that you are in a position to perform at your best, and make sure when you are that you're not forgetting to let that break down. So I hope this breakdown was good for y'all. And Mom, I'm gonna turn it back over to you. Anything
Okay.
else?
So, so I want to go back to, I guess the last thing you said. I'm going to say it in a different way. Make sure that, because life is going to happen, right? Life sometimes pulls the brake up on you, right? But if
Mhm.
you're prepared, taking it back to the car, especially with the gasoline, like this is a lesson for me, y'all. I hate getting gas. I will take chances to this day. And it's so crazy. It's so crazy. This might help me do better. But there have been times where I need to go somewhere quick. So I jump in the car, and guess what? I got to stop and get gas or get out and get in the other car, right? And that one might be that one might be low as well. So so that is just a thing for me. I always have hated that. I remember running out of gas, y'all, at the bank. I ran out of gas, came back out, no gas. I remember running out of gas on my way to work, and Red came. I had to call, and he said, if you do this again, I'm going to come and get Brandon, and I'm going to leave you right where you are. Didn't work though. I did it. I did it again. Didn't work. But I'm saying this to say we have to be prepared for life, right? Because life is going to happen. So it's not saying, we're not saying that you don't sometimes you're going to have to pull the brake up for yourself. That is taking care of yourself, right? And I also think this is about wisdom and understanding of yourself, of your life. And I'll say this lastly, it makes me think about Brandon Zolly. I don't know if I told you this story, and I was sharing it with an elderly lady Thursday, who shared a story with me, a 5-year-old story with me. So Zolly, her grandmother, and her great grandmother, she had asked her great grandmother about her stomach. She said, what are these? And y'all, we get old and we get little rolls in our stomach, right? And she was like, these are rolls. And so Zolly comes over to me to see if I have some. And so I squinch I don't have it's a lot or as much. So I kind of squinch my stomach together so that I would have some, thinking I'm helping, right? And I said, see, yeah, grandma got some rolls too. And she sat on the floor and she cried. She said, Sally doesn't have any rolls. I want some rolls too, right? But how this will change at age 15 and 16, right? She would cry if she had them. So I'm sharing this story with the lady that I came across on Thursday. And she said, oh, I have one for you. She said, when I was 5 years old, I wanted dimples so bad. I wanted them so bad. So what she did at 5 years old, y'all, she took a stapler, and yes, that's how bad she wanted him. And she said, I knew that it might hurt, but I didn't understand it would hurt that bad. But she thought dimples were so beautiful and she wanted them. So she tried to staple some in, right? So think about this 5-year old who wanted roles, who she does not know what she's asking for, right? She's just, so they're not there. They don't have the wisdom, they have the desire. We're there to help them get understanding and wisdom. That's why we have to say, hey, don't go in the street, because they don't
Mhm.
understand the car. So it does take wisdom with this to know to pull your brake up, but also wisdom to know you can't live your life with the brakes on. And as you talked about my brother, your uncle, I'm sure when he ran that ball, he had to become not just the running back or the tailback, whichever. He was also the person who, like, my goal is that pony, as we spoke about the other day. I'm going to clean this manure. I'm going to clean this stall. That means if you come in front of me, I'm going to become the tackler. I'm going to attack you. I'm going to tackle you down while I'm being the running back. The same with the little young man in the previous story. All right. If I throw the ball up and I miss, I'm the greatest pitcher. If I pitch to you and you miss, I'm still the greatest pitcher. If I swing, if you pitch to me and I swing, I'm the greatest swinger. So do you know when to break it down? Do you know when to let the break down? And do you know when to put it up, pull it up? And I'll stop there. Great, great one today.
Absolutely. And I think once you get to your destination, make sure you pull the brake up. So that especially if you're on an incline, if you take a break on an
Mm,
incline, you got to put that brake up. You can't just hop out that car. Gravity is going to have its way
yeah,
with what you've done, with how far you've traveled. And
yeah,
so, if you're parking on a mountain and you're not at the top of that mountain, or even if you are at the top of that mountain, put your brake up. There's a saying in a hadith from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in Islam, that says that, basically, like, the time we pray at certain times, right? Times of the day. And it says, it's a story about a man who was so gung ho about making his prayers, right, that he would just jump off of his camel in the middle of the desert and pray. Like, time came in for prayer, he's sitting there riding on the camel, right? Riding on the camel. How they got the two humps, so it's a little bumpy. And then the time the prayer come in, somebody calls the adhan, or the call to prayer. And so he's still riding on the camel. He jumps off the camel and starts praying right there. When he gets done praying, his camel's gone. So the prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Tie your camel, then trust in Allah. Tie your camel, then trust in Allah, or tie your camel and trust in God." Right? That's just the word in Arabic for God. So it might be time to pray, but did you do what you needed to do to protect what's yours before you trusted in God? Did you do everything that you could do to make sure that your car, your vehicle, was in a position to be successful, or in a position to reach its destination, or in a position to be protected? I'll speak to myself. Sometimes I have an issue with hitting the lock key on the car, because when I get there, I'm so ready to go to wherever I'm headed. So I hop out the car and I just go in, and I'll be almost to the door of wherever I'm at, and I'm like, oh, I gotta, doop, doop, make sure that it's locked. Because if you leave it unopened, if you leave it unlocked, the stick 'em up kids, or the thieves out here, will take whatever is in there of value to you. But what do you do with things that you value? You lock them up. What do you do with things that can roll away? You put the brake up for it, right? What do you do with a camel that can be worth so much to a person in the desert? It doesn't need water that much. It can go for long periods of time. It's very patient. And here you are, a human being in the middle of a sand dune in the middle of the desert, because you just wanted to pray so much, real quick, that you let your camel stay loose, and it kept walking without you. Now you got to go chase a big old camel. You know what I
wisdom,
mean? It's
wisdom.
wisdom, it's discernment, right? So I might trust in God as much as I can, but if I don't trust the good sense that God gave me, then what am I doing?
Look
What
at
am
there,
I
Brandon.
really
Do
doing?
you see who that
Oh yeah,
is?
Flavia, what's up, girl? Good to see you. Good to see you. I haven't seen that's my little sister. I haven't We actually haven't talked in a minute. It's been maybe a year or something, man. I appreciate you popping through, Flavia. Good to see you.
So,
Mike,
Brandon,
Brenda.
one more thing. You talked about, when you get on an incline or to the top of a mountain, you better put your brake down. If you're driving, right, you want to pull your brake up so that the car
Mhm.
doesn't go back down. Made me think about, as we grow through things and we accomplish a different mindset through that thing, journaling to the positive mindset. Think about this: when you conquer something, and this is so interesting because I used to tell people that I was looking at my life as mountains. I'm climbing mountains. I get to the top, and there seems like there's a million more mountains in front of me that I have to go. Right?
Mhm.
Thankfully, I see them smaller now, and I see the journey going up, not as harsh on me. But just think about, if I get to the top of that mountain, I've grown. To me, I've grown through some things, probably many things. Once I get there, if I pull my brake up, I won't go back down where I've come from. right? I won't go back down that the traumatic experiences. I won't let my mind or my body go back there so that I have to experience that thing again. And sometimes in life we do that. We don't know when to pull up the brake so that we don't go back to the person that hurt us. For the ladies, that guy that broke our heart, so much so that we can't move forward with the right guy that shows up. We don't even see him because we've let that break down, so we've gone back to the guy who did it, and that's what we're seeing. So think about when you get up there, when you've grown through something, put that break up. Don't go back and relive your past when you don't have to. You got a whole future that awaits your purpose and your passion. So it's about wisdom. Know when to, like they say, know when to fold it and know when to hold it. Know when to pull it up and know when to put it down. That break. So I'm done for real.
All done,
Don't say
man.
anything.
I appreciate it, Mom. That was good. I'm trying to move back to. I almost had the little ones came in, was like, I know I hear Grandma in here, so I had to press pause for a little bit. I
That's
think they
okay.
heard you talking about them, and but I sent them on back to bed. Um, but yeah, I guess that's all we got for y'all. I hope y'all learned something today. I hope we grew together, because I sure learned something. And just breaking down the breakdown. So thank y'all for joining us today. We're going to end the show the same way that we ended every day, with a reading of the title, a reading of the quote from our distinguished person from African American history, and then 3 readings of our affirmation to really break it down for you, to really let it dissolve and upload, I would say, into your consciousness, and so that you can carry this throughout the rest of your day. Let this be part of your maintenance plan for this super vehicle that you have, um, and letting you and reminding you to put your brake down. You might have a new car. You getting a renewed mind, a renewed self. You might not know where that brake is. They got the little brakes that you just push now. You ain't got to click them up like it used to be. Or you might have a big truck where you got to kick that brake down with your foot. But just know that there's a time for the brake, and there's a time to put the brake down. So we're gonna read this. This title on March 23rd is "Let Me Break It Down for You." And our quote is from none other than W.E.B. Du Bois, educator and scholar, who said, "There is in this world no such force as the force of a man determined to rise. The human soul cannot be permanently chained." And our affirmation for the day that we are going to carry on with us for the rest of the day, that we're going to say it for ourselves, we're going to say it for the person on the screen. I'm talking about me, I'm talking about you, I'm talking about the third one is for the person you're going to send this to. So think in your mind about somebody that needs to hear this message, somebody who has been riding with the brakes on, somebody who has
Mhm.
places to go, people to see, things to do, but just can't get there fast enough. Why? Because they're holding themselves back. Why? Because they're not tapping into their true potential, because they're holding something back. They're in fear of what's to come, of some impending danger that's neither real or realized yet, because it hasn't happened. When we worry about the future, we're anxious. When we
Mhm.
worry about the past, we're depressed. But when we're in a state of the constant presence, when we're here for every single moment as it happens, that's the only thing that really exists. The past doesn't exist anymore. It's gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the future doesn't exist yet, so there's nothing you can do to bring it faster or to delay it. The best thing that you can do is to practice presence of mind, presence of self, awareness of yourself in the present moment. That's all we have. That's all that's real. So we're going to read that 3 times, y'all. And it is: the light is green, and I am ready to go. I release everything that is holding me back. Second time: the light is
Light is
green, and I'm
green.
ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
I release
I release
everything
everything
that is
that
holding
is
me
holding me
back.
back.
And the last reading, this one's for the person that you're going to send it to. Think about somebody in your mind that needs to hear this. And I really want you to copy this link. It's real quick and easy. Y'all know how to copy, y'all know how to paste. So do this. This is your homework tonight. Send this to someone and tell them to be here tomorrow at 7 a.m. The last reading is "The light is green, and I'm ready to go."
To go.
Are you ready
I
to go?
release everything that is
I
holding me.
release everything that is holding me back. Man, I appreciate y'all so much. Release everything that's holding you back. Don't let nothing hold you down. Um, like Diddy said, I got to keep on moving. I got to keep on moving. So I hope y'all enjoyed the breakdown today on this 52nd consecutive day of In the Season podcast. I am your co-host, Brandon, the Gladiator Gator, and then the main host is the amazing, incredible, beautiful, transformative, intelligent. Um, love you so much, Mom. The
Oh, I
butterfly.
love you too. I love you too. One of my
Absolutely.
greatest blessings. I love you
Oh,
too.
appreciate you, Mom. And you're definitely mine. So thank y'all so much for rocking with us. And we'll see you tomorrow on the 53rd day of the End This Season podcast, reading Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. If you ain't got the book, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're here for.
Your
Spend
breaks
that
up.
little,
They're
yeah, your
breaking
breaks up.
up.
Your breaks up. Go
Somebody's
ahead.
gonna get in their car and they're gonna never see their brake the same. I mean, really, I hope when you pull that brake up and let it down, I hope something goes to your mind that speaks to your life, right?
Yeah,
Positively. So this has been good. I love this one. I love
me
this one.
too. Me too. And I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for rocking with us for this whole time. And we will see you tomorrow on the 53rd day. Take it easy. Peace.